camel that can swim? What? Hold your horses, folks, or hold your camels. I'll tell you all about it on today's Diary of a Small Business Owner. Okay, so check it out. In India, there is this breed of camel, the kharai, or here's how you spell it, so look it up. And they swim. It's the only known breed of camel that anybody's been able to find or study that swims. I know. Mostly camels, what? They're in the desert. They drink a bunch of water. They don't need to be around water. Yet, here they go swimming in source of food several times a year if they need to. And behold, the swimming camel. So I read about these guys, and of course I naturally think of, you guessed it, small businesses. The most resilient, adaptable organism in America. Yes, the small business. In a time when over 100,000 have closed permanently because of the pandemic, so many more that may still be open face unparalleled challenges. Here's an example. My hometown of Nashville is hosting a presidential free-for-all, aka a debate, this week. Local businesses nearby might have been excited about that once upon a time, but in a world where not as many people are going to be converging on that site to partake in all of the festivities, they may not be able to realize some of that proximity benefit. In fact, there is a group that is very close to the campus of Belmont University that has to have shut down this entire week. They had to close their business for a whole week. I heard about this last weekend and got the chance to go support one of them, Proper Bagel. Which, if you're not a bagel head, you gotta be, especially going to these guys' shop. So I popped in, got a half dozen for the family, and came home last Sunday. And as we enjoyed them, I thought about, man, not only has this group had to battle COVID and lots of other demand elements, but now they have to be closed for an entire week when they're working really hard to get any sales that they can. Backs are up against the wall. So what is it that we can do in order to fight for these small businesses? I mean, look, I think time and again, cities fight for big. They fight for the big company to relocate to their zip codes. They fight for the big conference to come. They fight for the big debate to be hosted there. But who is fighting for small? This is one reason that we launched the Small Business Pledge, which you can check out at smallbusiness.org. And look, what we're doing with that is just to get people to fight for small, to understand that it's those small steps that end up with something big. Thinking about this, I tweeted earlier this week, big dreams, small goals. Long journey, short step. High standards, low tolerance with anybody who's going to ask you to compromise. We all want to be big at some point. You ask a little kid, they don't want to be called little, they want to be big. But you only get to big if you were first small. Last weekend, I wrote about coffee shops. More and more data is coming out about how independent and small coffee shops and restaurants, like our friends at Proper Bagel, are up against it, man. More and more of them are closing, and in their place, big steps in. So I hope you like Starbucks with your Starbucks. Several years ago, I set the vision for Batch to be the premier gift company in the United States. Boom, that's it. That was the big goal, the premier gift company in the United States. I think at the time we maybe had some operations in some other cities, weren't doing near the volume that we were doing now. But hey, that's the goal, that's the vision, that's where we want to get to. But the reality is we don't get to be the premier gift company in the U.S. if we're not first the premier gift company in Nashville or Tennessee or the Southeast. You get where I'm going with it. Cities can't become vibrant cities for big businesses and big events if they also can't be a vibrant place for small businesses and small events. We just hired a new employee, about to bring on a handful more seasonally at Batch. Hiring people is one of my favorite things. I love being able to employ folks. It feels great to give people meaningful work, something they can enjoy doing at a fair wage. And I didn't get a press conference when we hired new people, I got no tax credits or tax breaks. I didn't get a headline in the newspaper. Yeah, look, I get it. We're not bringing hundreds of jobs, so it doesn't go through the normal channels of publicity and benefit. Fine. We're happy to do it. But I think that's what a lot of cities can miss out, especially now. I could wax poetic a long time about the deals that are not getting done nationally in Congress, and even talk about how some benefits happening at the state or city level still just aren't enough for these small businesses, so many of whom are struggling. But here's my point. If cities want to be resilient during and especially after a pandemic, they can't overlook the small. It's the small businesses that are those who are able to adapt. Time and again, I've talked to lots of our purveyors who said, hey, we used to do this pre-pandemic, but now we're doing this and we're fighting hard, and by God, we're growing. Batch is an example of that. We continue to pivot and grow to get more online customers, more corporate customers than ever. To do that, we had to get rid of our physical store, invest more in those online tactics and operations, and especially in our physical operations out of our warehouse. Change is what will lead. And that leads me back to these camels. Because guess what? A swimming camel is more resilient. A swimming camel is more adaptable to the global effects that it can't control, like climate change. A swimming camel, while there's still water, can go wherever it needs to find the food and the little bit of water that it can store up to survive. That then helps entire communities grow up around it that might be facing drier conditions than they ever have. So here's to the camels. The swimming camels, my fellow small business owners, all of us who are storing up the community, the gumption, the hustle, the work ethic that we need so that if we've got to close for a little bit, be it because of another wave of this disease that we just can't seem to get under control, be it decreased demand that is hitting all of us, no matter industry, be it some kind of global recession, all of these things that are happening to us, let us learn how to swim, to store up what we need to so that we can be more resilient than ever. And cities, take note. If you are not supporting your small businesses, you better, by God, get on it. Because it's these groups that will continue to transform communities. And if you ever want to attract and keep attracting the big with whatever tomorrow looks like, do not overlook the small today. Stay small and just keep swimming.